Hello, yes, hello with a big, smiley, beardy face that I seem to have today. Welcome to Sunday, where I'm making an extra video because of what's happening here today. I am effectively using this phone as a camera phone for the last time. But am I? Well, the answer is no, I'm not. So that previous statement was indeed false. Apologies for the false information, and excuse me whilst I get my cup of coffee in my Project MGTF mug. I am currently awaiting a man to turn up, and this man happens to be called Carl. Not the Carl, the fix-it Carl, the Carl that does the Volkswagen stuff, the Carl that gets under my car and messes with it. So, no, the other Carl. The Carl with a K. Carl, kicking Carl from Stoke. KKFS is coming from Stoke today with his car for me to review. I've already reviewed one of his cars, and that was the ZS 195, which of course is a car that nobody's ever heard of. And today I'll be reviewing another car that nobody else has ever heard of. But that's besides the point, because that's not why I'm doing this video currently. I am doing it to show off the fact that I've gone and taken the plunge with the excess. I have to pay it off via my phone bill, but there we go, there's my brand new Samsung S23 Ultra. The old one was collected yesterday and dropped off with this with an excess of £90. £90, which will be going on to the next bill that I can't afford. But I'll figure that out in the meantime. But also in the meantime, I have this issue now of being rather fearful of breaking this one, because the screen is just so vulnerable, because it's got that wraparound glass thing like that, and it's not particularly tough glass, it's just glass. So the moment you drop it, it's going to break. Now I need some sort of protection with this thing so I can carry on using it without it getting smashed. But what? I did have some ridiculous idea about having all this stuff around the sides of it for just filming purposes. Just filming purposes. Alright, okay. But that would be about as practical as me wearing a pinstripe suit to come to work in. So the answer is going to be just very, very carefully placing on the tripod. And you know where I am? You know where I am, don't you? There's carpet everywhere. Really what I should do is have a little blanket every time I put the tripod down. It's going to take me a bit more time, but at least if it falls off and lands on a carpet, it will be okay. Now, since having that other phone, it's given me the opportunity to take better shots, much clearer shots, much closer up, much further away. Take advantage of having that the optical zoom on there, not just the digital zoom. And that means that one thing I wasn't taking advantage of, which I really do need to do, is having two cameras. Yeah, so this one I will still use, but for some kind of special shots. The kind of shots that I daren't put my expensive phone in view of. And I am going to attempt to use this phone today in that fashion with my next video, which will be a review video. Car reviews are the main staple of this channel, and when I say that, I mean that they're the videos that will get viewed even if I'm not doing anything. So I need to do more of them, which obviously you know, because I've probably mentioned this about 50,000 times so far, and you've had enough of hearing it, right? It's time for me to step it up a gear, so to speak, by using more tripods, more devices, and more experimentation. And that is possible whilst I'm accompanied with another person. So I need people to help, people on hand to hold things, to help. There's a bit of slightly useless screen mounted phone holder there. It's useless because that doesn't stick, but I can make use of it. Somewhere in this lockup of eternal disaster, I also have a selfie stick, which has got quite a good grip. Now that could come in handy as well. Just down here in Harry Seacombe, the Rover 600, we have another sticky on thing. I'm sure it's in this car. And then what I go and find is another phone holder, which is actually made for the tripod. but that gap's not big enough to get a decent sized phone in. So now here we have a collection of all sorts of bits of tripod stuff all cobbled together to make one that still doesn't quite work securely.
You've done that before?
Eh?
You've done that before? I was expecting you to take your time.
It was full on.